All right, let's get right into it. The whole idea of being stuck at home for weeks, yeah, it can feel pretty overwhelming, maybe even a little scary. But we're going to flip that script. We're going to take that anxiety and turn it into a clear, actionable blueprint for confidence. And by the end of this, you and we're going to have that framework built, step by step.
So, let me ask you something straight up. Imagine your phone buzzes right now with an official alert. It says, shelter in place. Do not leave your home for at least 2 weeks. Just take a second and really think about it. Are you ready? Not just for a day or two, but for the long haul. This is the exact situation we're talking about getting ready for.
Now, before we get to all the checklists and the how-tos, we really need to understand the why. Because, knowing what's at stake is what turns a simple shopping list into an actual lifeline. So what does shelter in place really mean? It's not evacuation, it's actually the complete opposite. It's a deliberate choice to stay put because the danger's outside. The whole goal is to create this sealed barrier between you and whatever is out there. And here's the kicker. You have to be 100% self-sufficient until the all-clear is given. And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. These are real-world scenarios. We're talking about things like a train derailing and releasing chemicals, a radiological event, kind of like what happened around Fukushima, or even extreme weather, like that massive winter storm in Texas that knocked out power for millions and basically forced people to shelter at home for days.
And this quote right here, it just nails the mindset we need to have. This isn't about being scared or paranoid. It's about empowerment. It's about building this deep confidence that comes from knowing you have a solid plan and the tools to see it through for yourself and for your family.
Okay, so how do we build that confidence? We do it with a plan. Let's get into the real meat of it now, the actionable blueprint for building your lifeline right at home.
In any kind of long-term emergency, everything in your kit is important, for sure, but it all boils down to two things that form the absolute bedrock of survival, and that's water and food. If you get these two right, you have solved the biggest piece of the puzzle.
Burn this number into your brain. 1 gallon. That's the gold standard, per person, per day. And that covers your drinking water and basic sanitation. So let's do the math. For a family of 4, getting ready for 2 weeks, you're going to need 56 gallons of water stored away. It sounds like a lot, I know, but this is the non-negotiable foundation of your entire plan.
All right, food. Of course you need the basics, right? Proteins, grains. You should be aiming for around 2,000 calories per person each day. But, and this is so important, look at that comfort foods category. Coffee, chocolate, some favorite snacks. In a super high-stress situation, these things are absolutely crucial for morale. They make a huge difference. Oh, and speaking of essentials, don't be that person who forgets the single most overlooked item, a manual can opener.
If you're dealing with an airborne threat, your shelter is only as strong as its seal, and the #1 mistake people make is waiting until the disaster hits to figure this out. You have got to pre-measure and cut that plastic sheeting ahead of time. In a real emergency, you'll need to get that room sealed in just a few minutes, not hours. So please, practice this.
Okay, beyond food and water, your kit needs to cover these key areas. Communication is so vital. A hand-cranked radio is perfect because it doesn't need batteries or power from the grid. A 30-day supply of any prescription meds is absolutely critical. And trust me on this one, having digital and physical copies of your important documents in a waterproof bag will save you a world of hurt later on.
So, you've got your supplies, you've sealed your room, the physical prep is done. Awesome. But now comes the mental game. Actually living inside that space, maybe for weeks. This phase is all about managing your resources, the flow of information, and frankly, your own sanity. You have to make a huge mental shift from how you normally live to strategic rationing. This isn't about depriving yourself. It's about being smart. You plan out your portions, you use the food in the fridge and freezer first before it goes bad. Every single drop of water has a specific purpose. This strategic mindset is what makes your 2-week supply actually last for 2 full weeks.
Look, physical survival is only half of it. Your psychological health is every bit as important. The real challenge here is to create structure when everything outside is chaos. A routine feels normal. Limiting your news intake stops you from panicking, and giving everyone a job, even the kids, provides a powerful sense of purpose and control when you need it most.
So, you've ridden out the storm. You made it through. But the emergency isn't over just because you feel like it should be. This final phase, getting out safely, is just as critical as everything that came before it. Now, if you only remember one thing from this whole section, let it be this. Do not leave your shelter until you get the official all clear.
Don't guess, don't assume it's safe just because your neighbor is outside. You have to wait for that specific instruction from multiple official sources like your emergency radio and government alerts.
Once you get that all clear, there's a checklist. You don't just fling the doors open and get back to life. First, you ventilate the whole place to clear out stale air. And this is crucial. You replace your HVAC filters before you turn the system back on. You don't want to circulate any nasty stuff that got trapped in there. Then you clean everything, and you keep a close eye on your health.
After hearing all this, you might be thinking, wow, is all that effort really worth it? Well, the data says yes, absolutely. Take a look at this number, 80%. Research shows that households that are prepared are up to 80% more likely to get through a disaster without serious injury or hardship. That is a massive, life-changing advantage that comes directly from being ready.
And really, that 80% advantage all comes down to this simple truth, captured perfectly in this quote. The time you spend learning and preparing now is a small investment to avoid the unimaginable cost of learning a lesson through tragedy.
Because at the end of the day, being prepared isn't this one giant project you have to do all at once. It's a mindset. It's something you build, one small step at a time. So I'm going to leave you with this question. What's that one small step you can take today? Maybe it's just buying an extra case of water on your next grocery run. Maybe it's digging out that old radio. Or maybe it's just talking with your family about a plan. Whatever it is, take that first step.